Bit of a disaster. Been and delivered some bales, but I was on my way back and the tyre's gone completely flat, so Dan's just been and took the trailer. We're only about a mile from home. Now we've got to come up with a plan of how to get air into it. We think it's cracked because it's been under low pressure, so there's lots of cracks in it like this. So yeah, well, we got it home. Amazingly, there was enough air in one wagon wheel. This wagon wheel, Dan, which is completely knackered, it's like a spare. Dan pumped that up to 90 psi and there was enough air in that to put that back tyre up to nearly 20 psi, which was enough to get us home because we were only a mile away. We have actually got a tube, so what we're hoping is it's got some nasty cracks in it here and here. What we're hoping is we can put a tube in it and try it and run it with a tube, but I suppose the danger is that the tube will pinch, but we won't know unless we try it. Failing that, I think the tyre's pretty knackered, unfortunately. Anyone's got any. So we need another set of either 580 or 600s part worn 38-inch rims. Right, we've got the tube in. It's a brand new tube. I don't know why. Why did we buy that tube? Was it for this?
It was for this or the John Deere.
But we ended up going. Oh, maybe we ordered the tube before we realised that we could do tubeless valves. Yeah. Anyway, we'll try it. Give it a go. Hopefully it won't pinch. The cracks aren't as bad as I thought they would be.
There is one.
Dan thinks there is one, but I think we should just try it first before we start filing cracks down. It's not a massive job to take it off. We did try to do it with the wheel on the tractor, but it's too wobbly on the jack. And we needed the loader to actually get the tyre off the rim.
Right on that.
Well, we've just weighed the sheep, brought the scales down, and we did it in the trailer actually. So they're 33.3 average, but they're wet. So you could probably say 32, 31. But yeah, the biggest one was 40 and the smallest one was 28. So not too bad. Most of them were all around that 33 mark. So there's only one or two outliers. So yeah, at least we've got a bit of a benchmark. I was going to worm them as well, but I forgot to bring the wormer. We can come back and weigh them again in a couple of weeks. Quite a good setup actually, just having 20. You can fit them all in the trailer and run them through the scales quite easily. Three new calves, all from the same farm, as those, well, the last 20 or 30 we've had, to be fair. We've got 2 bulls and 1 heifer. We have just been getting heifers, but the heifers have slowed down a lot and we need to keep the numbers coming in, so we decided to take these 2 bulls. So we're probably going to have to get them castrated at some point. I might try using my crimpers, but we'll let them settle in first. Got them tagged got their white tags in, so they should be able to drink straight away. Tidying up some ditch banks. Got in Hedges. Well, it's Thursday the 25th of September and I've just put the mower on. We were out hedge cutting yesterday for, well, whole day to be fair. We did a full day of hedge cutting at my friend's farm, and there's probably a couple more days to do. And to be fair, the hedge cutter, considering it's probably cut more hedges, did more work yesterday than it's done probably the whole time I've had it. It didn't fare too bad. Lost another flail, which is annoying. I think it must have happened. I had a really a lot of growth on the top of a hedge that I had to really hack back, which was the last thing I did before I left. And I think that's maybe what did it, because it got a fair bit of abuse trying to cut about 3 foot of growth off the top of a hedge. But other than that, it's fared fine. There is one, I think there's a bolt that needs replacing here. This is hanging off. The bolts obviously, the nuts obviously snapped off. And then there was another one that I saw somewhere that was missing a nut, but the nut had come off down here. Look, that bolt's not the way it should be. Other than that, it all went pretty well. I'm amazed that we didn't have any breakdowns really. This started catching here. I don't know whether this piece is just bent a little bit. I don't understand why the hole's there. It should sort of be in the middle of the plate, but so whether it needs a new hole drilling or what, I don't know. But this has been welded up because this kept snapping off when I first bought it. So this is a weld here, and it's obviously bent on the weld, and it kept catching here, which meant I couldn't tilt it. I was limited to how far I could turn it. But other than that, no, it was all good really. The oil stayed pretty cool. Having it full of oil really helped keep the oil cool. It was bubbling out past Dan's gasket. I noticed when the oil did get warm, it was obviously rotating, circulating round the tank. I noticed it was bubbling out, so it must have got past the gasket somehow, which is slightly worrying, because if the oil can get out, then that means water can get in. But right, we're going to go mowing today. We're going to make a start on the last cut of the year. We're going to try and do sort of all of our fields probably over the next week or two. It's a job to know whether to leave it another week or what, because the forecast is very changeable. But we've had 3 or 4 really nice days now after that heavy shower of rain. So I think the grass is growing, but we're just conscious that it's getting late in the year and the days are getting shorter. So we thought we'd just cut a few and get a few of the wetter fields boxed off, hopefully, just to tick a box really, so that we're sort of on top of the job, and then we'll maybe do a bit more next week. So I'm just going through the blades to check them, but to be fair, most of them are all right. Might just change 1 or 2. Right, I found my camera. Yesterday we mowed about 20 acres, a load of little fields. I think it was 5 fields. So I've just dropped the mower off. I'm going to put the tedder on. Unsure whether tedding's the right thing to do or not. I mean, but because the ground's so dry, normally this time of the year I wouldn't bother tedding, because you just end up treading grass into the soft ground and causing more harm than good. But because the ground conditions are so good, I'm thinking it'd be silly not to just try and get it as dry as we can get it. We get these really heavy dews in the mornings. So it was, when I was mowing yesterday, I didn't start till midday, and it was only just dry then. And where any grass that had been in the shade was still quite damp. So once the dews burnt off today, it's completely still today, unfortunately. There's no wind at all, but I think I'm gonna. There's some bits I'm gonna go and try and flick out with the tedder if the tedder works, and then just give it another couple of hours or an hour or two, and then we'll go and row it up and get it baled, and then tick the box off. And then we got a bit of ground. If the weather does turn, we're supposed to have some rain tomorrow, so if we get time, we can maybe get a bit of muck out, but. The main thing is to just tick the boxes on a few fields. There's not a huge amount of grass on them, but it's a start, and then we'll see how we get on, whether we decide to cut a bit more next week or everything next week, or what we do. Or if the weather turns, we can always go and spread muck or cut hedges on the fields that we've cut. So just it gives us a few options. So right, I'm going to drop this hedge cutter off, put the tedder on this tractor, because I think the balls are for this one on the tedder. And then we'll get the rake put on that tractor, and then yeah, take it from there, go and see what we can do. Yeah, it's actually doing a really nice job, this tedder, so far. I'm just in the first field, and I've not got it too far down at all, so it's not picking every single bit of grass up, but that's okay. I just want to try and pick out the rows a bit, just so it has that extra chance to get a little bit drier, because there's nothing worse than having a load, because they're never high quality bales anyway this time of the year, but if you can get them dry, at least they're not just going to be horrible, stinking, rotten pudding bales. And I'm actually really happy with the way the grass is looking. I thought that it would be. I'm surprised how the sun's gone in now, but it has been out. It's been really nice and sunny one morning, and I'm surprised how wilted the grass is. I thought it might be a little bit more sodden with the heavy dew. Not quite chuffed, so I am going to try and whip over the majority of what I've got, because I think it would be worth it. Ground conditions are perfect, not sinking in at all, and even the wet part of this field is in the corner. I've just driven through it, and it's not even marked the ground. I've never seen it that dry. So yeah, it really is a complete polar opposite to what we were dealing with this time last year. Well, typically since I've tedded the grass out, it's just gone really cloudy and overcast, so it's not really doing a lot of drying, unfortunately, but still, at least it's not raining. Dan's just put the rake on, so I don't know whether he's going to go and make a start or whether he's going to give me a hand and put the baler on. I'm just going to drop the tedder off. Yeah, the wind's picked up a bit, which is good, but the sun's just completely gone in, which is a shame, because we had a really nice sunny morning. So. With how green this grass has turned out to be. I was walking across this field in, I think it was my previous video, narring about how long to leave it, because it was very yellow after the drought. But it just in the last week, I wouldn't have said it's bulked up as much as I'd have liked, but it's certainly gone from a very sickly looking yellow grass to quite a green lush grass, which I'm hoping reflects in its silage quality, but we'll see. So yeah, there's not going to be a massive amount. I think we're looking at probably 1.5 to 2 bales to the acre across everything that we're baling. This field's one of the better fields, because it's quite thick in the bottom. But it's all good. It's a lot better quality stuff than it looked like it was going to be 2 weeks ago, so quite pleased really.
Found you.
Well, that's the next morning. I just unloaded the last trailer load that I brought in last night. So this is what we got off the first block of about 18 acres it was. So yeah, quite chuffed. Just adds to the feedstocks levels. I'm hoping, because we've done 18 acres, we've got another, it depends really. We've got a couple of fields that have had muck on recently, which if the muck washes in, we will mow in the next week or two. We've got loads of stuff to mow that's really quite short to do. You know, we could potentially do another 80-90 acres. So I'm kind of hoping that we seem to be getting just shy of 2 bales to the acre. So if we do another 90 acres, hopefully we'll have at least another 150 bales, which will fill this area completely. This is actually first cut from last year, believe it or not. This is what we're feeding now. It was like very late first cut because it was like the end of June, because it just rained all of, I think it was the end of June. It rained the back end of May and most of June, so it's nice quality stuff. We baled it in nice, but it's just very old grass, and it's not, the cows don't love it. But so that's what we're feeding now, and then we'll probably feed some of the ropier second cut bale. I tried to use all the worst stuff first. A bunch of second cut ones, and then we'll probably use these last cut ones off, and then obviously like our big pile of first cut would be the last stuff that we use. But this year we've sold about 200, maybe over 200 bales of silage already. Some of it this year's and some of it last year's, so I don't know whether we'll be selling any more, but we'll see how it goes. We've got hay to sell. There's that hay in the shed that is for sale, unless we end up using it for the calves. Calves at the other farm seem to be eating a hell of a lot of hay at the moment, so, which is good, because it's good that they're eating food that we're producing rather than corn that we're having to buy in. But yeah, it's completely getting through all my hay, which I was hoping to sell, but it's one of them. The problem is over there is it's not. They take like 4 or 5 days to eat a round bale, like a lightly baled round bale of hay. So if you took them a bale of silage, it would probably take them like 5 days, and I think it'd be going off. It'd be going off by the time they'd finished eating it, which is not what you want, is it? And also the beauty of hay is that you can just roll it. You don't need a tractor. You can just roll them round from where they're stored. Because I tried to bale them quite light. This is the sort of stuff we've got a lot of now. There's like, I don't know whether, there's probably about 40-50 acres of grass like this, and I think personally it's like borderline not worth cutting, and if we do cut it, I think it's going to be bale to the acre. There's obviously places that are thicker where it'd be a bit more, but on average I think I've got a big block of ground that's probably only going to be about a bale to the acre. And then I've got other ground that is still fairly growing, that got cut not too long ago, I just want to give it as long as possible to grow. So I don't know, we'll see. So we've got loads to do now. We've actually started a fencing job, so I don't know whether Dan's keen to go and have a go doing a bit of fencing today. It's supposed to be raining this afternoon. I don't know if I was going to spread a bit of muck before the rain, but I don't think we're going to get that much really. It's only going to be light rain, so I don't think there's any mad rush to go and spread a load of muck. Well, we've just mowed this field. Dan came and gave me a hand with his tarp, but he's mowed about 3 acres with it, and the back axle's got a big crack in it. going to need welding up, so I don't think he's even going to be able to tow it home because he can't lift it up. So he's going to have to park it up somewhere and drop the axle off and take it home to weld it up. So yeah, another fail with the Tarot. I think we just need to get it sold, really, get it in a sale. Could do with another one of these, really. I'd quite like another coon. So anyway, we mowed this. There's not a lot of grass on it. It's quite nice young growth, so it'll be nice stuff. There just won't be much of it. So this is another 13 or 14 acres of quite nice stuff, and I've mown 10 acres over the other side of that ditch, which there's quite a lot more on that. And I'm going to go and see if there's anything else I can mow now. Well, it's Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday. Got to be getting near the end of the month. Yeah, it's 30th of September, Tuesday. And it looks as though it's the last dry day that we're going to have for a spell. The forecast was saying it was going to be nice all next week, but it's changed now and it's saying it's going to be rainy all next week. So this is the last dry day in the forecast to get some grass in, which is a shame because we've probably got more we can do, but yeah, we've just run out of time. We've cut maybe about 50 or so acres yesterday to bale today, and luckily the sun has come out. It's actually really nice now. We had a really heavy dew, so it will be wet, so we're going to wait till well after lunch probably before we start that, and then it'll be a long night probably getting it all done, because we try and just sort of do it in 20-acre blocks. But when I saw the forecast yesterday, I thought I'm just going to keep mowing because we might not get another chance. So we'll see. If we get everything in dry today, that'll be good. That'll be a big chunk done, and then we'll probably be, I would have thought we'll probably be out of wrap. So if we are going to do some more, we'll have to get some more rolls of wrap and pray for another dry spell, because there's a couple more fields that we could mow. It's surprising how even the fields where there doesn't seem to be a lot of grass, when you mow it, it's quite thick in the bottom. So I'm just going to do a bit of work on the baler, because one of the tines the pickup tines kept getting wedged, so we'll go and look at that now. So for some reason some of these tines kept getting stuck behind the band. So like for example, that tine would end up wedged in here along with that one, and I don't really know how it's happening. I've had a look at them, and apart from the tine being a little bit bent, there doesn't seem anything obvious wrong. But I think just to be safe, I've straightened a couple of them up. I think just to be safe, I'm going to change that one because I've got a new one. And there's another broken one there, and I think there's another broken one up there. So I'm just going to change all them. And put the band back on and just hope for the best. Because yeah, it got caught wedged once, and I took it back out, and in the process flicked my finger, which really flipping hurt. And then I thought it would be all right, and then I baled another half a row, and then it did the same thing again. It got wedged underneath the band, so I just kind of lost my patience and just took the band off to finish the field. So yeah, I just realised why the little aftermarket ones that I got off eBay are way cheaper than the proper Welga ones. If you look, this is a Welga one, and it's got room to be able to put a socket in there to tighten them up. These are the cheaper ones, and there's no way you can possibly get a socket or a spanner onto the bolt head to put them on. So at first I thought these were a bargain. They're probably going to be quite difficult to use, but we'll see how we get on. I've managed to get one on. They seem thicker metal as well, which I don't know whether it's good or bad. But so anyway, we'll try and get this one on. Look, I got lucky with that one and the bolt didn't spin, but we'll see with this one. Right, that's that done. All in theory should be correct now, although we probably should run it up just to make sure. Yeah, I've just nipped home because the one of the tines that I put on this morning had come loose. So, but I figured out that there is a way of tightening them up. So I've got it nice and tight now, so hopefully it'll be alright. And I forgot to pick up the camera, so we've done 31 bales, we've done 2 fields. Dan's just gone into the 3rd field, which is a really light crop. It'll be nice fresh grass, but there's not a lot of it because it was probably mown not that long ago, so it hadn't grown back as much as the others. So, and then we're going to go do this field next to the yard last, and there's actually a surprising amount on that. But what I've noticed is with the fields where there wasn't a lot of grass, the mower's kind of thrown it out rather than left it in neat rows. So I think Dan was going to struggle to get 3 into 1 with our rake, so he's opened the rake out another, I don't know, 6-8 inches onto its next hole, and he's set off rowing up the next field. So I want to get back and just check that it's not too wide a row for the baler. So hopefully if it's just right, it should make a nicer bale, because that last field the rows were too small and the bales were coming out all different shapes and sizes. So 2 bales to the acre on the last field we did, or just over 2 bales actually. But this one's not going to be anywhere near that, so there'll only be, I don't know, maybe, how many will there be? 15 or 20 bales maybe off this next field. And then we've got 20 acre field to finish, which could be nearly 2 bales to the acre. So we'll probably end up with just shy of 100. We'll see. These rows are spot on, making a nice bale. I was worried they'd be a little bit too wide, but they're absolutely perfect for the balers. So this crop on this field, this is actually 2nd cut because we left this field late for hay. And then when I cut the field next door to this one over there, which I'll show you in a minute, this grass had gone it's quite a dry field, this field in the bottom, and it had gone very yellow when we had the drought. So I didn't bother cutting it because there was hardly anything on it and it was all really yellow and horrible, so I left it. But it's actually greened up and it's quite a nice crop on here now. But, so it should be for 2nd cut. The field next door is 4th cut. Is 3rd cut, sorry. That's 3rd cut because I mowed it off after the drought to try and get it to green up. And the field that we'd done before this was, I think that'll be 4th cut on there. So yeah, all my fields are all completely all over the place. Everything's very varied in grass, different types of grass that all grows at different rates. And of course, when you bale it yourself, you don't mow everything on the same day anyway. So makes it even more complicated. So we've had a few problems. This knife isn't cutting the net properly. We can't really figure out why. We just run a file over it. But Dan noticed that this whole section was rattling loose and it had a bolt missing there, so we just put a new bolt in it. We don't know whether that's the problem, but it probably isn't helping if it's loose. And then the other thing is down there, one of those strips that goes behind the bands snapped off and bent back into the chamber, which meant that it was stopping the Well, yeah, it was rattling against the one of the rollers, and it was stopping the stuff from going inside, the grass from getting in the bale chamber. So we've had to. It was this band here. This had snapped off and had bent back, so we've had to bend it back into shape and then weld it back on underneath that, and put that ring back on. So hopefully. If this will start cutting the net, because what it does is it'll do its net sequence, the cutter will drop, and when you let the bale out, the net is still connected to the roll, and then it just rolls off, and then you end up with net everywhere. Off we go again. It's now 7:15, and we've got probably about 20, nearly 30 acres left to bale and wrap and try and cart in. Well, it's the next day now, and I'm just going to go and collect the last few bales that Dan wrapped last night. It got quite late last night, so we didn't just get everything in. I got most of the bales in. I think we ended up with about 60 or 70 in total off nearly 50 acres, so not too big a crop. We kept having problems with the baler because the grass was that short, it kept clogging, jamming up inside the bale pickup. And Dan had a little trouble with his one of the arm stabilizers on the case snapped, so we had to weld that up. So yeah, it ended up being quite late, and then I got up early this morning and took a load of cattle to the market. And then I got to the market and realised I got the wrong passport, so I had to go all the way home, get the right passport, go all the way back to the market again. And then by the time I got there, the sale had started, so I thought I'd stay and watch the cattle sell. So it's now, what time is it now? It must be 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'm just going to try and collect all these bales. There should only be 2 loads in this field. Gosh, there's a lot of crows knocking about. I hope they haven't been pecking the bales. And oh damn, just missed a rack one there. Oh no. There's a bale without any rack on. It was late, it must have been 1:30, nearly 2 o'clock in the morning by the time he was finishing wrapping these, so we'll let him off. The lights aren't exactly great on our tractors either. So yeah, and then it's the end of the month, so we'll probably end the video here. We had a bit of rain last night. It was raining while Dan was wrapping these actually. Only light rain, and then I think it rained through the night, and it was still raining a little bit this morning, but it's not forecast any for the rest of the day, but and it's not forecast any for tomorrow now, but I don't think I'm going to mow any more today. Just because I think it'll be a bit damp, and then we've got sort of quite a wet forecast for the next week, so we'll see whether or not we get any more weather to cut any more grass. There's a few more fields we can cut. Some of them are just similar to this, where it's going to be very short grass, but it'd be nice just to get it all tidied up for the winter. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one. I've got loads of ground now to get some muck out and get some hedge cutting done, so probably be doing a bit of that next. So yeah, bye for now. just thought I'd show you what damage these bloody crows have been doing to the bales. They've been pecking them to hell, which is really annoying, but there's not what I can do about it. Yeah, look at this. Every bale has got holes in it. Every single one. Yeah. So that's what you get for leaving them out for half a day. Oh, it's frustrating. I'm gonna have to either tape them all up or re-wrap them, which is a bit of a pain. I'm just glad I stayed up as long as I did last night to collect all the other ones in. I got, oh, I don't know, 4 or 5, no, 3 or 4 loads in last night, and I'm glad I did. Now I'm just starting to wonder whether I should have stayed up and got all these in. What can you do? You can't do it all, can you? If I'd have got all these in, I probably wouldn't have had any sleep at all. Anyway, it's not the end of the world, it's just annoying. I just can't believe they're all the crows are still in the field here now. I can see them pecking them. But anyway, yeah, this is actually the end of the video now. I'm going to get these in and tape them up. To be fair, the ones at the bottom of the stack won't be too bad, because if they've got bales sat on top of them, it'll seal them up. It's just I have to make sure the ones on the top are either taped or re-wrapped, one of the two. Anyway, bye for now.